we're back with another episode of On the Record with Tiffany and Kevin. And I'm here with two of my favorite people. Our spokesperson, Reginald Ballard, star of stage, screen, movies, everything you want to think of. And probably one of the funniest comedians that you're ever going to see. When he's in your area, you need to be going to see him because there's nothing better in life than laughter. Mr. Reginald Ballard, and kidney transplant recipient. And then Mr. Charles Evans, an unofficial whistleblower, somebody who should be known all over and is like on low key as a professional stuntman and just all around activist for kidney disease. I know, brother. I see you rising up, and I'm excited to see what God is going to do with you and with your story. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
So, the last time we talked, you were in an amazing book, and that your story in the book, How to Make a Killing. It really, by Tom Miller, and if you haven't read How to Make a Killing by Tom Miller, pick it up because it is about.
It's Mueller.
It's Mueller.
Tom Mueller. Some people say Mueller as Miller, and some say it as Mueller. Tom Mueller.
Well, the ones that say Miller haven't been to school properly, so it's Mueller.
It's Mueller. Okay, Tom Mueller. Okay. Okay, so now why you gotta blow me up, Reginald? Why you always gotta blow people up?
You don't get no Miller out of Mueller.
Okay, thank you for that. So if you haven't read this, what the book is about is it's about the dialysis industry. It's about that piece of what's going on in healthcare, and there was so much that I hadn't heard. There were some things I had heard, but your story just floored me. So just tell our audience today a little bit about what has transpired with you and kidney disease.
The years?
Justin?
Oh, I thought you was talking about Reginald.
No, I'm talking about you, Justin. Hey.
We're going to get to my story. We're going to get to mine.
Okay. All right. Well, what has transpired with me? Do you want me to start from the beginning or?
Well, a quick summary for the people that didn't hear you last week, and then where you are now. Because last week you really broke it down to us last week.
A quick summary is, as a person that was living a normal day-to-day life, I was thrown into a situation where I go to dialysis for 3 days a week. I am told that I would not have kidneys, that my life is going to change. However, as I know now, there was no mental help to get me there. So I'm in this, I'm living a life where I am now in kidney disease. I had a life where I was doing stunts. I was a gymnast. I did circus. I did dance, but I am thrown into this. So I'm going to dialysis. I'm starting to see that they don't have enough people. I know how things, I feel like I know how things should be working when it's your life on the line. It should be enough people. You should. So this particular center I was with, they started turning people away and telling them to just go to the hospital. Long story short, I saw it not to be right. I reached out to Senator Isaacson and I notified them. that this was going on because there was really nothing else we could do. So I notified them, I notified guest services, and the next morning they were back there. I was there with the facility administration, and the facility administrator and the regional director was in front of me saying that they told me everything that I had told and I sent off and this and that. So at that point, that itself is what my big thing is. There needs to be some type of first of all, patient protection. Like if you're calling and you're reporting, what I found out is it's kind of like a monopoly. Like you call guest services, but guest services actually works for DaVita. So you're calling and telling them, and they're telling on you.
It's
and
like
then
calling
it gets
HR.
So bad.
It sounds like it's like calling HR. HR works for the company.
Well, beyond that, they're now sticking you with needles, doing things that could potentially harm you, kill you, and nobody can say anything because you were in dialysis and it was just an accident. You see what I'm saying? It's all kinds of this twist and pull, which started right after that. They then started retaliation. They would start taking my medicines away, doing all kinds of stuff. So this story doesn't go on and on. We eventually had a nurse that came back that she called the police on me after taking my blood, which we find that that's assault. I asked them not to take my blood. That was another thing with this particular clinic. They would routinely lose our blood, and they would want us to retake it. I myself, I'm anemic, so I did not want to do that. I've had several transfusions, blood transfusions, and I do not want to do that. I know personally, I am AB positive, which is 1 in 3% in the world. I'm the universal plasma donor and universal reciprocant. So my blood transmutates so I can get anybody's blood. So mine is a very special blood. So particularly when I've had these transfusions, they wanted to give me every other blood except mine. The last couple of times I've had blood transfusions, they said, well, it's going to take 2 weeks to get AB positive. It's very rare. I said, well, then I guess I'll die in your hands. The next day they had my blood. This has happened twice. Okay. So I know there's something different. I asked all these questions anyway, but anyway, staying on subject with this particular facility, they tried to terminate me. My advocate at the time, which was Arlene Mullins, she got me back in there. She contacted Washington, CMS, and all the sources. So she saved me. They end up moving me an hour and a half away. So just to say, from this facility, I end up having to drive an hour and a half for my treatment. I did this for about, I think, 6 or 7 months. Because this, for whatever reason, it was, this is the next thing. The doctors, you tell the doctors have a direct hand that works with DaVita. So if you tell the doctors that they're doing this or mistreating, the doctors do nothing because they're getting paid by this company. So it's so wicked.
And that's what this book is really about. It's about the business models that govern dialysis and how what started off as a life-sustaining therapeutic, and it is, dialysis is a life-sustaining therapeutic, has now, because of business models that leave
it's fast food
openings for some nefarious players to get in there, then we see these things happening because you're not the only person in the book or in each state that's going through this. From what I can understand, Mr. Mueller is getting, or Dr. Mueller is getting all kinds of calls, emails.
Well, that's what we went
with
to
people with the
Washington
same problem
for. That's what we went to Washington for. We ended this Black History Month and going to Washington to ask for reform, ask that there be somebody.
And that was with who?
An oversight, basically.
What organization did you do that with?
I did it with Dr. Rhonda Hamilton and Healthy DC and me. Mm-hmm. We went up there with the whistleblowers. They spoke. Marcel Reed. And we just went around and trying to get people to understand that this is not so happening. Trying to get people to understand that it affects minorities and it's affecting us in a large portion. When you hear some of these numbers, like it's 21 people a day dying looking for a kidney, and it's like, what, 3,100 that they throw away.
Wow.
Yeah. Like somebody, and I didn't know these numbers. I don't know these numbers. I just know what I've been through, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to hear another doctor say that they target young Black men, and then understanding my situation when I had this go on and how he literally said that they don't give them enough time, and that this doctor actually got in trouble for trying to educate people. They don't want to educate. I didn't get educated. If I had known what this was before, I wouldn't have ended up in it. And actually, the more you tell me about the freedom that there is in Texas, and knowing a personal dance friend that went to Texas and has gotten a kidney, and he started when I started, but I don't. I think this is a kind of like a slavery. I think that they pick certain places to put people in situations, and they know they're not going to say things. The people that I spoke up for, I wasn't even speaking up for myself. I was speaking up for older people. These people are on their last leg of life, and I'm sitting there, watch them suffer, and people make them, and I know I'm young enough to fight. I'm fighting my life. You know what I mean? So why not say something?
And tell our audience where you at again? Where you located?
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Right. I'm gonna tell you, man. It's like out here in California. I'm in California, and it's a little different, man. My story. I know I didn't tell you a lot about my story the last time we spoke. I told you about, I never ran into the type of situations and problems that you ran into. Well, my story, man. I was diabetic, and so over the years, I remember when I first got diagnosed as a diabetic, when I went to a clinic, and the lady told the doctor, this female doctor told me, she said, yeah, your blood sugar's high. I think you probably diabetic. So go home and drink juice. Told me to drink juice, man. The worst thing for a diabetic is drink juice. So she told me that. Now that's one bad side that I had. And so eventually, man, over the years, my kidneys started going down because, that normally happens sometimes when diabetic, when you're not taking good care of yourself. And I wasn't taking, good. I thought I was invincible, played football. I thought, nothing can, I ain't never been sick, never had a drink in my life, never done drugs, smoked and nothing like that. I'm like, man, I'll be all right. So anyway, one day, man, I was riding, going to play golf, going to Long Beach from Pasadena. And I was eating a hummus wrap. My friends still tease me today. They call me hummus. So I was eating a hummus wrap, and my heart started beating real fast. So when it started beating fast, I was like, wow. So I called my friends, hey, man, I don't know if I'm going to make this golf thing. I'm going to go to the hospital. They said, what's wrong? I said, man, my heart beating fast. They said, don't worry about it. Just stop your car right where you at, and I'm going to come pick you up, and I'll take you to the hospital. I was like, cool. That was cool. So we took me to the hospital. And a kidney doctor came. Now, I already had a kidney doctor. Now, this kidney doctor I had in the beginning never told me, well, he told me that if I don't do a little bit better, I might have to go on dialysis, but he didn't tell me how dire it was until when I went to this Long Beach hospital. A kidney doctor came, Dr. Maserani. He came to me and said, hey, man, you're going to need a kidney. He said, because, it's not looking good. And he said, he the one that told me about the exchange program. I didn't know. My other doctor never told me about it. I can get somebody that if somebody want to give me a kidney, I don't have to be a match. And, so when he told me that, I'm like, wow. So I started letting him be my doctor now because he was giving me more, information more than the other kidney doctor was giving me. So, man, we went through that, man. And he had his own dialysis clinic. So, went through there, got the main thing he stressed on me, say, look, I want you to be out of here real soon. I don't want you to do a lot of dialysis and blah, blah, blah. And eventually I ended up doing dialysis for 8 months. And the reason I had to do it for 8 months is because they found out that I had a situation with my heart. So they had to do a heart thing first, a heart procedure. So we did heart procedure. He said, man, they set you back. He said, set you back for at least 6 weeks. So, he got me in, did the dialysis. We did it for 8 months. And, he got me in, got the kidney. And when I went on the exchange, on the what's it called, Tiff, when you go on the
National
registry,
Kidney
I think
Registry?
the registry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went on the kidney registry. And 15 minutes later, kidney, because my wife had donated her kidney for me, but it was too small. So I got another kidney from somebody else in another state, and she was doing that for her friend that was in Florida. And the friend in Florida got another kidney, and my wife's kidney went to a guy in California. So that's how it all worked, man. It's like my wife's kidney went to a guy in California, somebody in North Carolina kidney came to me, and from her, so her friend got a kidney in Florida. So that's how it worked. And, it was just that simple, that fast, the procedure. So I didn't have to do a lot of years and stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking, if they never told you about that in Georgia, if they never advocated for you to get that process, especially if you have somebody that's willing to give you a kidney.
And that's why I think we run into the problem with the retaliation. I think I was taken off the list. In fact, that's what Arlene came and advocated for.
No, see, that's what I was trying to tell you before. And this is what you're saying there is you thought you were on the list, but you weren't.
No. What I'm saying is they put so much in your files. And at the false terminations, you insubordinate or you not, then the kidney registry would deny you because of what is skewed in your files, which is we have asked for the duration of time, 2013, to have records, and they still didn't have records. When we came down and Arlene was sitting there, they brought in, this is the things that I have and we have proof of. Mm-hmm. They had a different social worker. They had a different dietitian. They had, and I'm sitting there with my advocate that has flew in to have a meeting. And I have to say, I don't know any of these people. Yes. So they can change things. They have skewed my files. Exactly. In fact, if you want more proof, Arlene saved me in 2021. Mm-hmm. They had terminated me illegally, got me out of the facility, and she had to call the health department. The health department did an investigation in 2021, found 45% of them negligent. 2 people had died, and they wrote this all in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. So there is proof. You don't have to. You don't have to guess about this stuff. God has protected me. God has protected me the entire way. Mm-hmm. The entire way.
Could you get a lawyer? Could you get like a lawyer and pursue some kind of lawsuit against that?
That's what I'm hoping. But for the last 3 years, I haven't had my Social Security disability. I have been struggling to have my lights and my food, and so. It has been hard to obtain an attorney, and I had one at one point. Actually, Tom Mueller referred her, but at the time, so much stuff was going on with the advocate, and so she's left it open for me to come back. But that was one of the only ones. This is $1 billion company we're trying to go against. It's a lot of people. Yeah. It's a lot of people that don't even want to, and they don't even want to waste their time with this. It's like they have so many paid lobbyists and associates and attorneys to do stuff. People don't even want to do it. You have to have money to do this.
Right.
They're gonna wait you out and waste your money that you don't have to begin with. They've already put me in a negligent place, and I was doing very good. I was working for some of the highest paid comedian actors. Just people in this industry, and it's just like it's hard. This itself is a book.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a whole movie.
It is, because when I was sitting there listening to it, it's so. Well, first of all, I've heard this over and over and over and over again. Not as extreme a case as yours, but I've heard it many, many times. Different variations of that over the last 7 years that I've been involved with kidney disease.
Can I add
and
one
helping
thing?
people navigate out of that. Usually it's in other states, like for we get calls from all over the United States to help people, because I guess we kind of have the reputation of being out there and willing to stand up and speak truth to power. So that's how. I'm
going to say one thing. In this time that I've been doing this, 2 people have died right in front of me. That has just been like, they're here right now and they're gone. You know, most people don't last the way I guess I have been blessed to last, so you probably won't see it. When they put you in critical condition or terminate you like they did me, and there's a duopoly, only 2 places you can go, then the only place you can go is to the hospital. You go in critical condition when your heart's at failure. You do that about 5 times, you've had a heart attack or you're dead. So they put you in situations you won't see them because they die, and it's a casualty.
And explain what it is. Explain to people, because I don't think people realize that when you go to the hospital to be dialyzed, that's very different. They can turn you away. They can turn you away. And like, let's say I go every other day to regular dialysis. Well, if I have to go to the hospital, they'll say, well, we won't give you dialysis on this day because you're not at critical condition. Yes. Critical condition means that your arteries are affected, your heart is now being affected, you have a lot of toxins and swelling in your body. Sometimes I've had so many toxins when I first started this that I've lost my knees and my sight. So that'll tell you what having too many toxins that you can't release because you don't have kidneys, you don't urinate, so you can't release all these toxins that you bring in. If people don't understand about toxins, because I've had to educate myself, getting mad, getting excited, all of these cause toxins to go into your body, and we don't even realize it. That's why it's very important for me to live a life of peace and stay happy, laugh. All these things kind of help too. But you go there and you're in critical condition about 5-6 times. You know, most people they're not as fit as me. They're not. Really, I don't even believe in the things that they tell us to eat. I think some of the things they tell us to eat is counterproductive when you really start to study the diet and stuff. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. And this is the biggest subject. The dietitians, most of the dietitians aren't healthy. And you ask them questions and they have. He said most of the dietitians aren't healthy.
Oh,
they aren't.
Yeah.
Imagine being a 15-year jiu-jitsu martial artist that had to study anatomy, 3 degrees in yoga. I danced forever. You know what I'm saying?
And a trained ballerina.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I've done that as well. I've done ballet, danced for Aida. Professional shows, like, you know what I'm saying? And I studied my nutrition. I studied Dr. Sebi, which is something they are totally against. When I do anything that actually heals, they're totally against. And for those of you that don't know who Dr. Sebi was, he believed in raw foods. He believed in eating things that were real. He believed in the electrical diet because we are
non-hybrid foods. Yeah.
Yes. And so that when I do things like that, or I do my intermittent fasting, oh, Justin, you're going to die. But I feel better than I've ever felt. Yes, and then if I'm intermittent fasting, why should I have to go 3 times a week? I didn't eat yesterday. So what are you trying to suck out? And that's where we've ran into problems with them, is because they have such a strict thing. I'm not doing everything everybody's doing. And they pulled that on me at this facility until I fail. I told them if I'm intermittent fasting and I start my diet, I stop eating at 7 or 8, sometimes even a little bit before. And I go there to dialysis at 5:30 in the morning, and y'all just insisting on sucking this. Well, we still got to suck the blood, or we clean the blood. It makes me sick. Whether they talking about something, they just cleaning the blood, or they don't have to get any fluid out, it makes me sick. And I told them that over and over. Well, you can't eat on the machines. Well, I have to eat on the machines. I ain't eat yesterday.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You can. I told them over and over. I tell them I'm dizzy. They would take my blood pressure low, until I fell in there. And then the doctor. Oh, you got to eat. You got to eat every time. You got to have some kind of protein.
Okay, hold that thought. Hold that thought. You've been listening to On the Record with Tiffany and Kevin, and we're gonna come back in a few minutes, and we're gonna hear more of Justin's story and where he is now and what we're doing in this process.